Hi, my name is Josh Seaberg. I'm gonna be building a hot air balloon out of this tape, these bags, this basket, this wire for stability, and then some type of power source. We're also gonna be using fishing line to connect everything, and then we have our fire extinguisher inside, and we'll go get that, and the Star Wars character, just to be inside the basket. We're gonna cut a seam right down the side of this garbage bag.
How many of these are you gonna do it on?
2 garbage bags. We're gonna tape it together, and it'll create one giant balloon-shaped bag that will be sealed with tape. And then we'll use like the drawstrings to kind of tighten it all together. And then after that, we're gonna create a structure and tape this structure under it. We are using this poly tube I found in the garage for like the structure of the hole, so it has like good support and everything. So I'm just gonna cut it around like there, so at the bottom, the base of our balloon will be about that big.
Go ahead.
To seal, like to put this together, instead of using tape, I found like a little stick on the ground. All the sticks that my dogs eat, and I just kind of spliced it together, and we're gonna put tape around it just for like security, but I figured it'd be more structurally sound than only tape.
Okay.
Kind of just gotta like twist and like squeeze it to the bottom. Just kind of hope it stays until you can tape it. We kind of have to fit like all this somehow into here and have it be sealable. And so you kind of just bring it over, and then you gotta just kind of get any extra parts and just like, stuff it around until it is somewhat satisfactory, and hopefully it works.
Hold on. Okay.
So we attach drawstrings and then tape them to themselves on the structure for support. And then now we're going to start kind of like stuffing all this in, and then we'll start building the rest of it, like the power source. So we got a sterno can for our heat source, but we learned it's gonna melt everything that it touches basically. So we're taking this like 4 cable wire and we're gonna splice it apart, and after that we're gonna use all this to support our little sterno can to keep it a safe distance from this so it doesn't catch on fire, but give it enough air to fill it up and let it fly.
Okay.
So this is our little power source. It's got a little soda can, and wrapped around it is some copper wire to hold it in place. And then we have 2 little electrical wires that are holding onto the soda can, which is wrapped around the sterno can. And then we're going to attach this to the ring we have inside the balloon, and hopefully it doesn't catch on fire. So our last option did not work so well. So we pick up the structural ring, place it inside a singular little bag. It should have less volume and more output, hopefully. Be easier to fill. So we'll see how this goes. So we tried.
Hold on. Okay.
I tried 3 different methods to make it work. At first, I went like super big, like this giant black trash bag. There's 2 mixed into one, and like put together, but then that was really hard to fill up. And then right there, we have the second method I tried, the smaller, just white trash bag, all of which were structured by this little copper ring, and it filled up quite well, but the sterno can was too heavy, so we would every time I'd try and fill it, I would try with this little blow dryer to test and see if it would even lift off.
See if that one will still lift off.
This one's a little singed. This was my third idea. So they fill. Part of it is because they're getting blown. Part of it is because of the heat. But when you put an object under it, such as like our mini sterno can we have here, when you put an object under it, usually it doesn't fly. Sorry about my dog. Yeah, but I tried 3 different methods, and one was too hard. Not too hard, but it's too hard to fill up. There's too much volume to fill up. But it would, if we could have filled it up fast enough, it would have carried the weight. The other one filled up quite fast, but wasn't strong enough to carry the weight. The third one was too close, and so as you can see, it burnt, and it was not also able to carry the weight. Part of it has to do with the quality of the resources I have at home to make this project, as well as just the lack of engineering skills overall, like for this particular idea and concept when it comes to hot air balloons. So my hypothesis on how to make one work would be you have a little torch, so this is kind of like a torch, kind of hear it, and you'd fill it up. As you can see, it's kind of filling and melting at the same time. But you can see it filling, but the main idea is you would use a torch like this to keep it going constantly, something like this, like an actual hot air balloon has, rather than a slow and steady heat heat source. This creates heat and creates force as well, with gas shooting up to the top. So that's one idea of how to make it work. Plus you would have to figure out how to mount that and hold it on with a resource that wouldn't melt, so possibly something that's not a plastic, more like a cloth that's heat resistant. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know this hasn't been in the video, but we do have it on hand, but nothing has ever gone out of control to the point where we need it. So, but there's our fire extinguisher. But for reference, we have one of our garbage bags. It doesn't have the structure in it, but basically you'd fill it up like so. Now, given that we don't have the tighter structure in the bottom, it did look a little wacky, but you can see it does take a lot of time to fill, even with something that's forcing hot air into it. The same goes with this little contraption.
He actually did get that one to fly for a few seconds.
Yeah, when we had the structure in it, but this was the one that fills the quickest, but none of these have the correct ratio of the mass of air to how much it's outputting, how much is needed to even pull up the weight. Yeah, we don't have enough heat output that creates that also blows air into the bag or the balloon to create equal and even more opposite forces to lift it up. So that's the problem we go with right now.